Now, to look at me, no one here would guess that I'm a creepy little weirdo. Because I'm not. I'm just a normal guy like you. The truth is, I love people watching, OK? We all love a bit of people watching, don't we? Sitting in a park or outside a cafe, just observing people, eavesdropping on their conversations, judging their shoes. But like many businesses, I was hit hard by the pandemic, and I had to pivot my people watching online. And that's why we're here today. I stalk strangers online. And it's good to see some of you again. Lot of familiar faces, isn't that right, Danny?
No.
Is it Danny?
No.
Really thought that was going to work. Really But why do we stalk? Well, it all comes down to the 3 Ps. And those Ps are vital. So why is online stalking better? Well, it's less risky, OK? The biggest risk with stalking is you get caught and you go to jail. But the biggest risk with online stalking is that you accidentally like a photo from several years ago and they think you're weird. I'm sure we've all found ourselves in this situation where we're 5 years deep on someone we went to school with's profile and we accidentally like a picture while trying to zoom in on something absolutely unacceptable. In this instance, you have 3 options, OK? Number 1, you delete your account, hoping they don't have notifications switched on. Number 2, you change your real name by deed poll, so it technically wasn't you. Or number 3, you commit an actually heinous crime that's newsworthy, and that way, if they mention your sneaky photo liking, they'll seem incredibly self-absorbed and very insensitive to your real-life victims. Imagine the scene. Oh, did you hear about Rhys? He killed all those nuns. Yeah, and he liked one of my old photos. Wow, Alice, that's irrelevant and boring. I'm on Rhys's side now. Perfect. So how do you know if you're a stalker? It's not really stalking if you just look at their profile. That's called being a good friend. It's only stalking if you go back through their photos. But how far back? 5 photos for one person could be 2 days, but for another, 5 photos could be a whole year. Luckily, there are some things you can look out for that'll tell you if you've gone too far. You know, does he have all his hair again? You know, are they suddenly wearing a school uniform? Is their granddad back alive? Have they gone to see the Kooks wearing a Von Dutch hat? Or simply, are they smiling in a photo with Rolf Harris? Sorry, didn't know it was a Rolf crowd. Because we look through in reverse chronological order, stalking is a great way to tell a story backwards. You know, you see a photo of someone with one arm who's overcome great adversity to compete in the Paralympics. You keep scrolling. You see the same guy, incredibly sad in hospital, wearing a sling on his shoulder. You scroll even further. You see the same man very happily enjoying a safari, giving the middle finger to a crocodile. Suddenly, you've just told a story backwards. Suddenly, you've just written a Christopher Nolan film. That's right. If we didn't have internet stalking, we wouldn't even have Christopher Nolan's latest film. Don't believe me? Look at this. Oh, what's that in the pudding? Tastes like proof. Pretty impressive, eh? Wouldn't you say so, Jack? Is it Jack?
No.
For fuck's sake. OK. You look like a Jack. Prick, mate. You may not want to be stalked, but you shouldn't feel guilty for stalking. We all do it. You know, what matters is who you stalk. I'm sure everyone in this room at some point has stalked an ex and their new partner, maybe a colleague, maybe an old school friend. But that's not the title of this lecture. I stalk strangers online. Strangers. People I've never even met. So who are they? Well, primarily, they're the hunters from the TV show Hunted. I stalk their social media profiles and find out everything about them. Then, if I ever go on Hunted, I'll wait for them to go out and looking for me, and then I'll go and stay in their empty house. In 2018, this follower of mine DM'd me on Instagram to ask, why is your Insta so shit? So I went on his Instagram, saw what he was up to, and then I decided I would recreate loads of his photos on my Instagram. Posting them a few days after he had. The point is, there are loads of different methods to stalk and get revenge. Isn't that right, Dean? Dean Bygate. You're Dean Bygate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? From Hertfordshire? Born in Dunstable? Went to St Christopher's School. Currently live on Mapesbury Avenue. Yeah, I know who you fucking are, mate. You see, there is another way to get revenge, and that is to go direct to the source. Because you tweeted me in 2016, didn't you, Dean, if you remember? You said, pretty poor form that you cancelled your show in Portsmouth on the day I travelled for an hour to get there. You bully, Dean! That is a disgrace. I had diarrhea. But let's look closely at that tweet, shall we? And ask ourselves again, why do we stalk? Pretty, poor, Portsmouth. That's right, Dean. The 3 Ps. Now, some of you are probably wondering how I orchestrated this whole thing for Dean to be here in the audience tonight and sat in the perfect position for cameras and microphones to pick him up. Well, I'm happy to tell you that that's all I have time for. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.